Hey, Brandon. So what do you think about child trafficking? What do you think about the Catholic Church with the pedophile going on there, pedophilia, and also with Hollywood using children?
There's two ways to kind of look at the issue. Men, historically, in their pride and in their natural desires, want that power, and they want to fulfill their fleshly lusts. And so you see people that find in positions of influence and power abuse that, and they generally point towards the people of innocence, right? That innocence that children have that adults don't have, right? Their ability to be persuaded and to be led away innocently without any sort of struggle, and the power that that brings satisfies man's sinful nature, essentially. And so we see it rampant, especially in the church, in places that God is not existent. You look at the Catholic Church and that kind of thing. And so we see a lot of it, and that's why throughout history that's always been a struggle, because Satan has attacked children. Scripture tells us in Proverbs 22 that we need to train up a child in the way that we should go, the way that he should go, and when they're old they won't depart from it. The second side to that coin is that Satan understands that if he can get people while they're young, it's much, much harder for them to find God. Whether it's through a broken family or a poor relationship with their father that they'll project onto who God is, or whether or not, Satan deceives them and leads them to believe that their sin is actually just natural, that's just part of who they are. If you know anything about history or anything about the Nazis, a big part of their propaganda machine was to get the children while they're young, and then they'll serve without question later on as they grow older. And so we see Satan doing that as well. That's kind of his MO. So they're an easy target for men who are looking to fulfill that lust for power and that lust for that carnal nature. And then there's the other side of the coin where children are attacked, because starting them young is much, much easier than trying to turn someone into towards evil if a Christian parent has set them up in the way that they should go. That's why that scripture's in there, is because if you can instill that morality and that nature and that love of God when they're young, they'll see that and they'll compare that as they get older, and they won't turn from it because they'll be able to see what's right.
So let me ask you this question. If I will find out that a brother in church is like molesting kids, I'll probably like snap and want to hit him a few times. I know that's not biblical. Do you think God is going to look at a child molester like he's going to punish them harsher than a regular, like a sinner that sin? Like,
it depends on whether or not they're in the church. I think that if they're posing as someone who's supposed to be a spokesman for God, or someone who's supposed to have a relationship with God, and they're doing that, I believe that they're going to have a much harsher punishment than someone who is doing those things in ignorance. Now, we're not the ones to say, right? We're not the just judge that sits on the throne, but the way that God talks about how he sees innocent children and how he desires them and how he wants us to be like them, I think it's safe to say that according to his character, people who are abusing the innocent like that, they're heaping on themselves a much greater punishment. I believe that is the case.